In this video, we're going to have a look at the new 360 image component and how we can add panoramic images to our scenarios. So I'm just going to scroll down here. I'm in the step editor, and I'm just going to add a new 360 image component. And that's added that to our screen there. So in a 360 image component, you will need to add scenes, and those scenes will contain the panoramic images that the users can pan around and interact with. So what we need to do straight away is go on create a scene. And we'll give it a title. And we need to select an image. You can see I've already uploaded some images here, which happen to be panoramic images. And press save, and that should refresh it. And now you can see we have the image there on our step, ready to do what we want with. The first thing I'm going to do is add some hotspots. To do this, we can either double click on the image there, because you know at the moment if we move it, it will just drag it around rather than panning around the image. So if I go to edit hotspots or double click on this, we'll go into the editor mode, and that's when I can start dragging it around. And if I want to add a hotspot to this image, I simply double click on the areas of interest and it will add the hotspots for me. Now, if we want to add some kind of interactivity to these hotspots, once they've been added, we can simply click on them. And here, give it a title, hotspot 1. And this one I'm going to give a tooltip. Press save there. I'm not going to add any actions to this one, we'll just keep it simple with a tooltip. Press add. And now if I were to exit that mode and preview this component, we'll see if we go over here, we have this is a hotspot. So we can look around. If we hover over this one, we get this as a hotspot. Great. Okay. So let's go and back into edit mode. Click on this hotspot. Let's give this one a tooltip as well. Press me to see the mountains. Because what we will do eventually is add an action to go to a different scene in this activity. We don't have any of the scenes set up yet, so I'll come back to that in a second. Keep going around. Let's put, for example, here, let's add a popover to this one. Now, a popover is a bit like a tooltip, but it's a bit more advanced and it's got more content options. So you can see we've got a title here, some body content, and we can also select images or video. So let's leave that text as it is. Let's go to Giphy and search for snow. And we'll just put, there we go, that'll do. Someone lost in the wilderness. Save that. We'll leave it as a default width. We'll leave it to trigger with a click. Save that. Save that. And now if we preview it, again we should have these tooltips. And if we go here, you'll see we have the popover as well. Okay, that's great. So let's go back and think about this hotspot here. I want it to take us to another scene. So how can we add another scene? Well, come over to this side now. We'll add scene 2. Select the other image we have saved here. Save that, and it will automatically refresh the viewer with that scene. We can go between the scenes, so if I want to go back to the first scene with the hotspots, I can. Back to scene 2. And should we add a hotspot here as well? Let's add one here. And we'll say this is a walker. Probably doing them a disservice only calling them a walker, but there we go. So now if we go back to the first scene, how do I link these two scenes together? Well, that's where we can use the action editor. So if I was to click on this hotspot, which we have a tooltip for already, let's go to the action editor and I'll say, when this hotspot is pressed, we want to, because it's a 360 image component, this comes up as the first option. So set the 360 image scene, and let's set it to scene 2, the one we just added. Save that action. Save that. Now, if we preview it, we'll see we've got the tooltips, the popover, and now you see it resets the view and it takes us to the next scene. can see this is a walker. So that should give you an idea of how you can use panoramic images in your scenarios.